Hello. I knew that was going to happen. Hello, everybody. Welcome. There we go. Welcome to the Patreon Hangout. It's been a while. Literally and figuratively and metaphorically and all of that too. Hopefully, can you guys see me right now? Because right now in my preview window, so in my streaming software, it shows my face and everything, but in the actual like YouTube studio side, it's just like a spinning thing. So sound off in the chat if you can. Yeah, okay, cool. Just making sure. I don't know why the preview is broken on my end, but also I realized when I was getting stuff set up, I might actually change these lights. I've still got the Metroid Stream light configuration at the moment. But I was looking when I was setting up, I'm like, oh, the grays are getting noticeable now. Jeez. Like, granted, I need a haircut, but also these right here, these guys are like noticeably, it's really hard to like move your finger in a diagonal direction when it's mirrored. There we go. When it's mirrored one way. But the grays are starting to show. And I was thinking about it earlier too. Let's do this one. Let's see how this looks. I don't like the pink. Too much pink right in the face. Heyo. I don't know. Let's tweak this as we go. It's a little better. If anything, it's maybe a little bit intense. So let's do that. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. I'm just kind of, whoa, too much. Just kind of messing with it as we go here. I thought about it as we were, I don't like this either. I kind of miss I don't miss my old setup because it was a mess and it was so cramped. But I miss having the nano leaf lights literally like here, like physically I could tap them because it gave such vivid colors like right on the face. What else we got here? Here's let's see. So here's the Nightmare and the Dreamy Let's Play lights. I feel like it's accenting this shiny ass corner of my head. This is the Shadowthon lights that I kept because they were neat. This is Majora's Marathon, which does it. Something is wrong with these colors. Something is not currently correct. That's okay. And then I've got D-pad, which is this, and I just feel like that pink is just so strong. Which one do I fix to make this better? Honestly, just changing that one to blue wound up making that a little bit less ridiculous. Let's drop the intensity there a little bit. It's fine. Anyway, I had the realization I was heading upstairs, so it's May 1st, 2026, which means the next time y'all see me in April, I'll be moments away, mere breaths away from turning 40. Holy cow. Which, I'll be honest, so it doesn't like bother me. It's a lot to think about in April, yeah. My birthday is the day before the D-pad's birthday. When we first started the podcast, that was like half intentional. We were just trying to pick a date that was going to work for us, and I don't think that it was by design. I think it was just, all right, this is a Sunday. That works. We recorded it before my birthday, so technically the D-pad's been around since I was 23. But then we posted it on like Sunday of that week or something because it was pre-recorded back then as podcasts. But yeah, it's not something that bothers me, but it's definitely something that like I think about sometimes because I like to throw my hand back, but I feel like I'm like doing one of those. I'm sure this is just kind of a millennial thing in general, but like I don't feel that old. Sometimes I do. There are times where physically I feel that old. I've got a bunch of doctor's appointment things I'm doing right now that are in that kind of vein, but Um, I don't know. I think in my head, I'm still like, I don't know, 29 or something. Like that's just kind of where just like vibes wise, mood wise, not necessarily like maturity wise, but I don't know. It's weird to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be that old. Okay. Uh, and there was a point a few years back. It might have been like when I turned 30, honestly. But certainly around the time I was turning like 35, I thought about it because I'm like, man, is there going to be a point where I'm just kind of like too old to do this? Not in terms of like I'm too decrepit or whatever, because like I don't know, Shirley Curry was doing streams and stuff in what her 80s. Uh, is she still around? Is Shirley Curry still with us? I hate to like is oh my god. Sorry, I googled her name and the first thing I see is like, right, Shirley Curry. Shirley Curry and I share a birthday. No shit. That's actually awesome. That's pretty fucking cool. Shirley Curry and I have the same birthday. 51 years apart, but still pretty rad. But yeah, I googled her name and then I was like, all right, let's see. Shirley Curry, born also known by her name Skyrim Grandma, is an American YouTuber and gamer. I'm like, is she's still with us? She is. Oh, she just turned 90. Well, there we go. Okay, so and her active year. So she technically started in 2015. So she was in her 70s when she got started, but pretty much her entire career thus far, up until a few weeks ago, was her 80s. Um, that was a huge departure there. But so, in the sense of like, and I guess Shirley Kerr is a great example of it not mattering there anyway either. But like in the sense of like, am I getting too old to even be like trying to engage in like not necessarily the gamer space, but like let's play and stuff like that, and just the more active production. And like to a certain extent, there's only so long I'll be able to even do as much production as I'm able to do now before that starts to get trickier. But anytime I have had that thought cross my mind, I remind myself that I used to watch a lot of Good Mythical Morning, for which Rhett and Link had me by a good, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Probably like 10 years. They're probably around. I'm going to bet that they're both like 51. Rhett McLaughlin. So close. They're 49. Other side of 40. Sorry, that's not right either. 47, 48. They will be turning 48 and 49 this year. That was close. So they got about 10 years on me. But I think about like, okay, so they got about 10 years on me and they're still doing stuff. And maybe the one that's the most like, there we go. There's the easy one to refer over to is Danny Sexbang, who is also about 10 years older than me and is still doing plenty of shit between YouTube and music and all of that. See now I'm looking at it's a birthday day kind of thing today. Everybody, we got to find out where everybody was born. All right, so he just turned 47. So he is a year behind Link, who is a year behind Rhett. Let me spin this way, because this way I can turn and I don't have to like, do a whole thing. But yeah, that's kind of crossed my mind once in a while. It's odd to consider, especially because I still have such vivid memories of like doing this in my 20s and not even celebrating anniversaries for the channel because it wasn't a thing that, well, one, it wasn't a thing that most channels would do in the first place, and two, the reason we do them at this point is more because to celebrate the longevity of the channel more than its size. Not that it's a tiny channel, but like if we hit half a million subs in our first 2-3 years, then yeah, we'd probably been doing anniversary streams back then too, because we just had, whoop, the camera's been doing that a bit lately. I gotta figure out what's going on with that. I feel like my computer is slowly dying, and what a great time for that too, right? But yeah, yeah, yep, we're good. We're still here. But yeah, no, like I think we would have, if the channel was massive when we got started, then yeah, we probably would have had anniversary streams really early on, just because we would have had the audience for that, right? Like, bad example, but one that does fit would be like, so Channel Awesome and all of that used to do not anniversary streams, anniversary movies. And the justification for that was that they had such a huge viewership overall, and they had such a big team. Big quotes on that. I think a closer analog would be like there was a point in time where I wanted the D-pad to be a part of Channel Awesome, and holy fuck am I glad that I didn't actually push harder to try to get in there. There was a point in time where I kind of wanted the D-pad to be a little like that in a sense, or also like, I can't even remember the channel's name anymore, which sucks because they were infinitely more like well known, but like not Yogscast, not Rooster Teeth. There's another one and I can't place it, but also hello Nano. Actually had a graphics card failure stay while playing Vampire Crawlers. That was, oh no. That's not good. Part of the reason I had to reboot my computer is because in the middle of the Zeldathon Direct stream and announcement stuff, my GPU just like everything went black for a second. It like did the thing where in the middle of the video, all of a sudden someone would be talking, all of a sudden, like it just kind of freezes like audio wise as well. And it was like, oh, that's not good. So I was like, I probably should just reboot and take it from there. Excuse me. But yeah, holy cow, 15 years. It's weird to think about 15 years for a few reasons. One being that like it has been a long time, but also, and like, I don't know, I've mentioned this here and there, excuse me, during anniversary streams, just because, it's something that is important to kind of consider when celebrating how long something's been going on, is that it can't go forever, right? And like, I'm certainly not planning on shutting anything down anytime soon. But there's also kind of the pragmatic approach of like, okay, there will at some point be a point where that happens. My hope is that it comes when I am physically incapable of doing it anymore, which will be quite a distance away. All things, if knock on wood. But I feel like there's a different flavor of, so compared to when we did the 10th anniversary stream, it was still in the thick of like COVID, which made for like just weird everything. But I think it was pretty easy at that point to just be like, oh, okay, COVID sucked, but we're doing this thing. We're going to be at it for a long time. Cool. And then with this one, I don't know, something about, maybe it's the number 15. Something about it's like, whew, all right, I hope we make it to 20. It's like, well, I would be surprised if we didn't get to 20. Maybe it's just like a law of averages thing. Maybe it's just like, okay, it's like flipping a coin over and over again, where you're like, I've flipped 3 heads. Sweet. You flip it again, I got another head. And it's like, okay, sooner or later that won't flip heads, but in the meantime, cool. It's weird thinking about that stuff. Because, yeah, again, I have no plan. I have no intention of going anywhere. I've got other projects that I've been slowly putting together that some of them could become like a new primary focus for me. but I don't see the D-pad going anywhere. And like in the worst case, it would just be at a slower pace than normal. But like, I don't. Part of that too is just part of the reason that I stuck with Let's Play, instead of like fully diverting to like just video essays or just streams, or is that like Let's Play is both like simple enough to set up and make happen, while also being just enough in terms of like substantive content, I guess. I don't really know how to put it, but like it's something where I don't. If I was setting out to like make a movie every month, like a short film every month type thing, which I guess to a certain extent that's a terrible example because I have sort of done that, both literally as short films, because there was a point in time in the 2010s where we as a team were doing 48-hour film projects, but also just like live intros and stuff are kind of short films at the end of the day. But like, I don't know. I'm like rambling. I'm kind of in like a weird headspace. Yeah, I don't know. As long as you're still here, I'll be here too. Well, I hope that does, that is a comforting thing, a comforting thought. And I hope that like, I hope that what we make is still good, right? Like it's not, it's no secret to me that stuff, I feel like I get into this every couple of months too, but like, the shape of the channel has changed over time. It kind of ebbs and flows here and there. Folks come and go and come again and all of that. And I do generally, sorry, I'm like looking at my sound meter and at the very bottom it's like going, I don't know. I generally try to keep the same general vibes on the channel. I'm hoping something that will help me out a little bit, because one thing that I've tried to do is like I've tried to dip my toe a little more into solo recording, just because it's easy to do in terms of like organizing, right? I don't have to like schedule around folks. I can just like pick a time and go for it. But also I don't know, it gives me a little finer control over the end product, I suppose. I can plan things out, and however long or short they are is easy enough for me to just, decide and do it. And it makes it a little easier when there's times where folks aren't able to come out as often. Or if, Sarah and I wind up being super, super busy, and, it makes it harder for people to, it makes it harder for us to have time for people to come and do stuff too, which has been the case for the last like month or so, because we had, God, what was it? So the 3rd into the 4th, was that the weekend? Yeah, 3rd into the 4th was the anniversary stream. I could swear there was something the week before too, but I can't remember. And then the following week, not even weekend, we had the 99-turn Mario Party Madness, the 3rd annual 99-turn game. And then literally the day after that, Sarah and I got on a plane for Scotland. So that was the weekend after the anniversary stream. The weekend after that, we came back. And then the weekend after that, the 24th, 25th, we actually went to a show. We went to see Galantis in Boston. We haven't gone out dancing in a while. Sarah was very excited about it. I like Galantis. I was very tired, but I was like, no, it'll be good to get out there. It'll be a good time. The venue, I think we've gone to, it's Big Night Live in Boston, and I think we're kind of done with that venue, unfortunately, at least for a while. They always kind of packed it a little tight, and this was so tightly packed that we're fairly sure that they were violating fire code, which isn't great. And also, some lady spilled 2 separate drinks on me and almost skull bashed me from above as well. So wasn't a great time there. This weekend, I have stuff happening later on in the weekend that I won't get into. But this weekend is also kind of tricky. And then next weekend, we're doing a DIY camping thing. It's David Attenborough's 100th birthday, and we've done a thing during our DIY camping where we'll pick at least one of the nights, because we'll usually like have a projector screen with like a generator, and we'll put up like music sets, like videos from like music sets and stuff like that. And we'll hang, we'll dance, we'll listen to music, all that stuff. And then we'll usually, our cool down for the night will wind up being a David Attenborough nature documentary, which probably sounds super boring, but it is fascinating when like your brain is all buzzing and you're just trying to like, there's been some good stuff in there, but it became such a tradition for us. And when it happened last year, or maybe the year before, we went looking, because it might have been me that was like, he's got to be like 100 years old now, right? And I looked and found out like, oh, okay, he's not 100, but he turns 100 in 2026, and it's happening in May, which is just late enough to maybe do some camping. So we planned our camping weekend around this. It should be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. We're actually going to be doing it, ironically, like right here next to the house, because we have actually a decent amount of like land that kind of came with it. It's basically just forest, but we have like a leach field for like where technically it's where our septic is underneath it, but it's kind of a flat grassy sort of area over there. And so we're probably going to set up camp over there, and it'll be a good time. It'll be a very good time. However, that will be let me pull it up again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th consecutive weekend of stuff happening. So I am very tired. Which will segue into one or two things here as well. Tired for a few reasons. There's that. There's I work for a company based out of Europe. So like all of my meetings for work are between like 9 a.m., sometimes earlier, but 9 a.m. and noon, usually 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. I've had meetings as early as 7 in the morning. And I'm not a morning person. I've never been a morning person. The trouble though, because that's not too bad on its own. That on its own is like I can manage that. So there's that. There's the weekends that have been very busy, and so there hasn't been a lot of opportunity to like sleep in and really like try to rest up and recharge. I'm also kind of a notorious introvert, which probably sounds ridiculous given the channel and the streams and all the folks that I do like multiplayer collab stuff with and all of that. But it is true. I very much am an introvert. I have a tiny little social battery, and it gets very difficult for me to keep that going forever. And the trouble with having so many weekends in a row doing stuff and then going to work and then also trying to get editing stuff done and then trying to do streaming and is there haven't been a lot of great moments to kind of recharge. And to make matters worse on top of that, because again, I think all of that is still solvable, right? Not that the rest of it isn't, but that's stuff that's like, okay, that's comprehensible. That's stuff that's like fixable with little tweaks here and there. So I got tested about a month ago, doing things that people is fun, but like also just want to be left alone and sleep. Totally. Yeah. And like, it's such an awkward position to be in if you're feeling that. And especially if you're around like friends who are extroverted and are very buzzy and kind of thrive on that, where you're like, I love you, but I like, I need a little bit of space or quiet or something to just kind of like, but so for years now, years and years and years now, I've become a loud snorer, which on its own isn't terrible, but Sarah had started to mention a couple of years back that like, the snoring, aside from the fact that snoring is very bad, it's like sometimes you sound like you're like choking, like you're not breathing. It's like, oh, that's not good. And around the time I wanted to start investigating this was when I got laid off from my last job, which was basically simultaneous with us signing for the house and moving and all of that. And then I wasn't able to land a full-time job until this past fall, about 7 months ago, 8 months ago. No, I guess 7 months ago. It was October. But so I haven't had like reliable health insurance and stuff to be able to cover a bunch of these things. And even still, I'm still paying for stuff out of pocket for some of these, which is unfortunate, but that's kind of just how it goes. But so I got tested a month ago, and got results back that I have sleep apnea. I believe the full terminology used was moderate obstructive sleep apnea, which in layman's terms is just the spot you breathe in from down here in the middle of the night. It just kind of, because it's basically just flaps, right? It's just kind of walls and flaps in the middle of the night. It just kind of whoop, and sometimes it just kind of like rests and presses there, and it means that at various points in the night, I just stop breathing. Better than sleep cacnea, much more pointy. Yeah. And that would wake me up for sure. But yeah, no, I think they were saying that like, and every sleep apnea story I've seen has a similar kind of, has a similar sort of, progression to it. And it always sounds so fucking scary, because it is. And then you make loud choking. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Because at some point your body is going to try harder and harder and harder subconsciously to get you to breathe, which will eventually involve like, like, that kind of thing. But yeah, they did the test. It was like a little like ring that I wore on my finger, and it had like it's clearly had like an infrared on the underside. So I think they were scanning like literally my veins to detect like blood pressure and stuff like that. But so yeah, they were like, so you have about 20 obstructive episodes per hour right now. Like, oh, so every like 2-3 minutes I'm just not breathing. Sweet. Great. Awesome. And some of this is weight. I've been needing to start exercising more, get healthier and stuff for a while now. But in addition to that, a big thing there is that like when your body is doing that, it's spending a lot of energy in the night just desperately trying to keep you alive. So the time when you're supposed to be resting, your body is just not doing that. The end result is like a lot of fatigue, brain fogginess, even stuff like memory can get affected by it, and mood too. It's a big like mood thing, and I'm like looking down this list of symptoms of it. I'm like, oh my god, every single one of these, Jesus Christ. And so there's just been a big pile of stuff all smashing into each other, which resulted in some pretty embarrassing moments, I'll say. I think during both of the last two Ratata streams, there were points where I like for like literally a second, just kind of like one of those little like, whoop, I nodded off. Uh-oh. And usually in both of those instances, that was the point where I was like, all right, we should wrap this up now. But like, it's very embarrassing. And it bums me out because I want to be able to do more. If it sounds familiar, I would highly recommend it. The worst thing, well, not the worst thing. I was going to say the worst thing they can say is you don't have it, but I guess that'd be the best thing is if you don't have it. Worst thing in terms of like, in the best case, you discover that you have something and you can take steps to remediate that. In the worst case, you're good and you've just kind of wasted a little bit of time, but at least you know you're good, I guess. But so that's been like a whole thing. If I've seemed tired lately on streams, that's also just stress, which doesn't help. But if I've seemed tired in streams, if I've seemed tired in recorded videos, that would be a big part of why. So that's been kind of an interesting thing going on. So yeah, I got diagnosed, I guess, with that. Homeboy's getting a CPAP machine. That's a scary thing to think about. Talking about like age and stuff. I think it really it was already something that like felt weird to think about during the process of all the testing stuff. But, I think literally today, it was like, here's an online form thing that you fill out and you can like get the stuff shipped to you and all that. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. And they showed a picture of the thing and it just kind of like, I paused for a second. 'Cause like, I don't know. I think the image in my head, and apparently like this stuff is actually fairly common for folks in their 30s and 40s too. But like, the image in my head of someone who has like a mask or a breathing aid or something like that in bed is like, it's like a, 80-year-old person in a nursing home kind of scenario. And it's like, it's a scary thing to like even just look at. And I don't know. There's also a certain amount of like, it was an emotional sort of thing, both between that and also just like, man, I really could and should have taken better care of myself this whole time. Because I think that would, because they said that, yeah, like weight is a factor for that. I lose weight, the apnea may go away completely, which would be fucking great. Aside from the fact that I have done big weight loss things before, and I know how it feels at the far end of that, and it feels great, and I have energy, and I feel like jazzed and ready to do stuff. So like, it's not like it's a secret to me that the benefits are great on that side of stuff. Man, it's tough to get that stuff started. But we've got actually 2 exercise bikes and a treadmill along with some workout equipment here in the house, so I'm going to be using that a lot. Now that we're back from all of the big events and trips and things, that was the thing that was kind of stalling me for a while, was like, all right, I could hit the exercise bike or the treadmill, but if my legs are killing me and like as I'm getting on the plane to Scotland and then we're going to walk around and stuff, my legs are going to fucking fall off my body. Like, return to the Ring Fit Let's Play. I had debated that, actually. There was a point where I was debating, like, do I rock a season 2 of that? But like, the sad thing is, not sad, but like the reality of it is, Ring Fit Adventure is probably pretty good for like light general fitness. It does not strike me as something that is really like, and having done this once before, it helped me maintain generally better than lose weight. I was probably building a little bit of muscle to offset a little bit of fat. But I don't think that Ring Fit Adventure was ultimately going to be the saving grace there, unless I just like went way harder at it. Like if I doubled how much I was doing that a given day, then yeah, probably I'd probably burn a shitload of calories and weight that way. My limbs would all explode, but you know, always a possibility there. Ironically, I think the most successful weight loss I had ever done, the lowest that I'd ever gotten, because about 10 years ago I lost a bunch of weight, but that wasn't even the best weight loss that I had done at that point. And I was actually like pretty trim in like 2016, 2017. I was in pretty decent shape. What a perfect time for me to have done like the Mighty Number 9 videos and the Michael Jackson video and all of those things. Some of the biggest videos on the channel, and it was the best shape I'd been in you know, the last 15 years. But no, there was a point back in college when I don't know how or why this fucking worked at all, because it really shouldn't have. But so my college was on a hill and my apartment was at the bottom of the hill. So every day, and I mean, this was, everybody did this, but every day was walking up and down that hill anyway. So that helped to start. The changes that I'd made were every day I would do 1 hour of Wii Fit U. Maybe it was just Wii Fit. It was one of the Wii Fits. They're all kind of the same. And the 1 hour would consist of 30 minutes of step aerobics, because there's a mode where you just do step over and over again for 30 minutes. And then I would do 30 minutes of free run, which would basically just be jogging in place for half an hour. And most of my diet consisted of tuna fish Quiznos subs from the campus center on whole wheat bread, and V8 Fusions and water. And somehow that bizarre combination lost me like 75 pounds. I have absolutely no idea how that worked as well as it did, because it had no reason to. Oh no! Hello, Gullux. Have you just been like sitting for the last, oh my God, almost an hour now, hasn't it been? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Welcome. I'm talking weight loss journeys right now. But yeah, no, I got myself down to, I think it was 185 pounds versus 2016. Between the summer and the fall, I got down to about like 192, I think. But yeah, the running and the stepping were good. They definitely helped. Honestly, the free run for 30 minutes probably did the absolute bulk of that work. But the last time I came up with the, yeah, so we had a little sub shop in our campus center, and it wasn't a branded one at first, and then it became a Quiznos. It was definitely better before it was a Quiznos, but it was still fine as a Quiznos. It's all right. One of these days, Jeff and I will have to go on a road trip to every Blimpies in the country. See how many states we can have diarrhea in. Jesus Christ. I'm actually curious now how many Blimpies exist. I think I actually looked this up at one point, and it was too large of a number to actually be a viable thing. If you haven't seen Eddie Burback, there's 156 locations. So What the fuck? Huh. If you go to the Blimpies Wikipedia page, they got, the trade name, the company type, headquarters, number of locations, 156, down from question mark. And then it says area served, and it's got 2 areas that were served. One is the United States, and the other is Kuwait. Parentheses, ceased operations. What in the fuck? Let's see. Oh, there's also 2. Oh no. As of 2023, there were 2 Blimpie restaurants in Singapore, one in Kinex and one in 313 Somerset. However, these shut down in May 2023. Holy fuck. Jeez. Around 2009, also around the time they changed their logo, the brand came to Kuwait. However, by 2020, most of the locations had shut down, but there's still a location at the Kuwait International Airport. Unbelievable. I can't Kuwait until there are fewer stores so that this could be a viable thing. Oh, yeah, it's all over the fucking country. It's like a disease. Oh, my God, is there one that's coming soon? There's a few that are coming soon. There's one in Miami. There's one in Southwest Louisiana. There's 2 in South Carolina. There's one in Michigan. What is the nearest Blimpies to us? The nearest Blimpies to us is just north of Hartford. What? Let's see. North Bloomfield, near Windsor, Connecticut. Oh, actually, oh my God! Wait a minute. I know where this is. This is actually quite close to where Sarah grew up. It's like, hey, wait a second. That sounds familiar. It's literally like maybe a, I don't know, 10-minute drive past Sarah's parents' place. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, if you haven't heard, I'm sure I've talked about this several times before. Eddie Burback and Ted Nivison did a video 2, maybe 3 years ago, where they went to every rainforest cafe in the U.S. and Canada. And then the year after, they went to every Margaritaville in the U.S. and Canada. They each produced a separate video out of it. So there's 4 videos of these 2 journeys. And they're fucking hilarious. I would highly recommend checking out both videos, all 4 videos. Still getting used to the new couch. Still getting used to it, but yeah, so that's where stuff's been. So most nights of streaming have started with me like going before I hop on because of just a colossal migraine and a deep desire to just pass out. New couch comfy? Yes. Oh yeah, it's much comfier than the last one. It's a very nice couch. I like it a lot. If anything, I almost kind of want to get more cushions for it just to move a little bit for it, because it's not quite as bad as the old couch in terms of the depth, but it's close. But just having another cushion behind me would make this like not an issue at all. I'll have to restart the D-pad pillows initiative. I might be moving. Oh wow, this is such a huge jump. I might be moving our. I'm debating moving our merch over to Fourth Wall. I had a bad experience with them with demo stuff, but I also know that demo stuff tends to be a little bit weird of a process anyway. But I'm also anxious about shipping out bad merch. I don't want to do that. I had a long conversation with the Mario Party folks at PAX. It was Triss in particular had a lot of info on this stuff, and I need to pick their brain a little bit again on that, because I've got new merch things that I want to put up. One of them is going to be spoiler, I guess, but one of them is going to be the Grand Champion Tournament bracket is going to be a shirt. I guess sort of a spiritual successor to the was it the Complete Odyssey? I think that was the name of the series. Holy cow. My brain is soup right now. I apologize. And also just kind of keeping track of I got the list on the side of the stuff that was announced in the like other live video thing that I did, the sizzle reel, what have you. Everything I said in the video was true, by the way. All of these things are in the pipeline. They're all actively being edited right now. Some at different stages than others. I guess none of it. I was going to be coy about it, but it's like I literally announced all of these. This is a list of things that I said were happening, so it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, we got one thing that's coming, and it's but like no, they're all explicitly in there. This feels like appropriate topic for the update portion of the stream though, so this is fine. We've already gotten the Heart Gold gym battle is already up, and we've started, and we've got Soul Silver, chapter 3 continuing from there. I will say we recorded a lot of Soul Silver, but we did not record John fighting Whitney. We got a lot of videos in, and he stayed for hours longer than he was planning to, and decided at the last second that he was like, I think it'd probably be better if we did the gym battle the next time I'm here, because that way, I'll be a little more alive. We'll have a good battle that's like refreshed, and then whoever wins keeps going from there. It does sound like John, and it's so funny because we kept in between episodes. It kept being like, "Are you good for more? Do you need to go?" And he's like, we'll do more and more." It's all right if you're sure. Doing that for like 2 hours. You're like, "Are you sure that you don't need to like go?" And he's like, we'll do one more." Okay. And then when we finally get to the point where he's basically ready to do Whitney, he's like, all right, I should get going. Sure. All right. Why not? But yeah, so that's already happened. Sly Cooper, we're into that as well. We've recorded 10 episodes of Sly Cooper, beyond the grand finale one. So we've got another week's worth in the can for that right now. What else? I could even give you like a rough estimate of when these things are happening. 999 and Heavy Rain. We've got episodes of those recorded. Those are probably going to be weekend videos. I think just because, so 999, I think by virtue of being a visual novel at its core, 15 minutes just isn't enough to get things done. And I can't justify a week full of 30-minute episodes, at least right now. So that's going to be a weekend thing, and I'm planning to have the next one up actually tomorrow. I actually almost had it done for last Saturday, but it was like late at night, and I wasn't quite there yet. I was like, we'll start fresh on Monday. We'll bring this around next week. But 999, you should be expecting that tomorrow. I'm on the fence between alternating weekends between 999 and Heavy Rain, or just doing 999. We only have 4 episodes of 999 right now, so it'd be this week and next week if we did that. And then After that, maybe we do however many episodes we have of Heavy Rain. I actually don't know how many episodes we have there. I think we're probably breaking those up mostly like scene by scene, just because it's just awkward to break it up otherwise. I'd be interested too when we're done with 999. I wouldn't even be opposed to exploring more of Zero Escape. I've heard decent things about most of the games. There's a few that I've heard are hot garbage, but I wouldn't be opposed to doing those. And they could be group things or solo things too. I don't have a strong preference either way for that. But yeah, Heavy Rain. If we don't have a video for that next weekend, then the weekend after we certainly would. The Heavy Rain dad had awkward breakups too. Don't worry. Oh God, woof, 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 woof. Oh God. And Resident Evil Requiem. I was hoping originally to be able to have it up for this past Monday, but I wasn't able to get the intro put together in time. So we're gonna see how things go tomorrow. All goes well, then we should be able to have that up for Monday. I think it might have to go up for Monday because, well, we do have more Sly. Well, we'll see. We got Sly Cooper. We got Pokemon. In the worst case, it'll be the week after that, at which point we're going to need replacement stuff anyway because we'll be out of Sly Cooper for the time being. We'll be down to just a couple Soul Silvers left. But we have Resident Evil Requiem, which has an intro that's already filmed, as well as Sonic Racing Crossworlds and Kirby Air Riders, which don't have intros filmed in completely yet. There are parts of the intro that are filmed, but I need to record a few other parts. Those will probably be like later on in May, just because I've got limited time for the time being. It's gonna start clearing up in the next week or two, finally, but it's just been very, very tight, and I want to make sure that I can, get things done. The Mega Man Fully Charged Pilot D-Pad and Chill commentary. I don't know exactly when that's going to come out. That's probably the thing that'll be first out of the stuff that's left, just because it is generally, I think it's the shortest of all of those. Because all the stuff from before this line are like Let's Play stuff, standard Let's Play type things. Everything coming after this is like weird non-Let's Play stuff. But the Fully Charged Pilot is probably going to be the first of the remainder of these to come out. It's not even that crazy on editing. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it and having the time for it. But I think if it doesn't happen, I think that'll happen in the next like 2-ish weeks, I would say. Neil Breen's Sexology. That's probably going to be more like the end of the month, maybe even the start of June, just because that is a lot of material. That's like a good 3.5 hours of stuff. So that's going to take some time to dig through. I'm going to try to start making it part of my routine, though, to like at least chip into it a bit here and there, because that'll make it go by a little bit easier. The best of Ocarina of Time. That one is one where I just need like a couple hours to did all the remaining ones. No, we did not do all the remaining ones. We did the next two, which are Pass Through and Fateful Findings and Pass Through. So his third and fourth movies. Because the first video that we did was why can't I remember his first movie? The second one was I Am Here Now. The first Double Down and I Am Here Now. The second video is going to be, or is, it just hasn't come out yet, Fateful Findings and Pass Through. And then we're going to be doing a third video at some point that contains the twin duology of Twisted Pair and Cade the Tortured Crossing. And by the time we get to that, I think his 7th movie will be out, so we can add that in there as well. I don't think his 7th movie is out yet. Let's see. Yeah, Dire Duplicity. Scheduled for release this year. Yeah, set to be released in 2026. No other information yet. Okay. But yeah, Best of Ocarina. That should be coming. Doesn't have the word sex and how dare over there. Yeah. I'm tossing around some silly ideas for how to refer to that. Don't you worry. There'll be something silly there. Best of Ocarina is one that's like halfway done right now. I don't even need necessarily all that long to finish it. It's just a matter of like it. So this comes from a point in time where I did almost no audio editing. Very different from how I do it now. I'm like kind of obsessive about it now, to be honest. I'm trying to find ways to reduce the amount of audio editing that I have to do. But so the problem there is any clips that we have, so long as I still have the raw material for it, I'm actively like re-editing audio as well as trying to find where the jokes are. Because it's literally like for the best ofs, I don't just sit there and rewatch everything. That would take forever. What I tend to do is, so for the audio files that are in Premiere, it'll show you their waveforms. Usually pretty easy to tell where a joke is because suddenly everyone is making noise laughing. That's usually what I look for, unless I'm very, very aware that there's something that doesn't really apply like that. But so that one's just a matter of scrubbing through. I think I'm either 5 or 6 episodes into that, so I'm a little under half. But it's just a matter of just like finding some time to like knock the rest of that out. That'll probably be like end of the month. The best of the Mega Let's Play Part 2 is another one that I've been kind of slow broiling for a while. I've got just about everything lined up in there. I forgot that I had an issue with a buggy video file from either the Power Fighters or the Power Battle. I forget which. One of them, the video is just straight up like bugged out. So I need to figure out how I fixed that before so that I can at least scan it. They might not even be videos that anything meaningful is going to come from. But the rest of it, the biggest problem there is just the volume. The Ocarina stuff has a decent amount of volume to it as is. The Mega Let's Play Part 2 is like a shitload more. Probably a good like 50, 60 hours of material that I have to dig through for that. Much the same, like scrub along, try to find stuff. There's a few cases where I'm like, I remember there was something here. Where is it? But otherwise, we're looking for jokes. I'm probably going to refer back to the 10-year Best of the D-Pad video as well in spots, because that just makes stuff easier a little bit. That one's going to be a while. That's literally probably going to be like the second to last of the sizzle reel things to come out, just because of how much time that's going to take. Sonic Adventure in chronological order. We're looking for jokes. Yeah, right, a little bit. Sonic Adventure in chronological order is one that is phase 1 of this has been done for a really long time, which was literally just to take all of the clips with audio and line them up. The problem is it's a shitload of audio files, and I essentially have to decide which tracks get priority during a given scene. And also, the hard drive that these videos are on is definitely starting to show its age, so it's slowing down, which makes editing that really, really difficult. So what I may wind up doing is like exporting the video, because the video is not going to change. The video portion of it is now complete. So I may just export that so I have a singular file that I can put somewhere on a fresh drive, so it's nice and quick, and then do the audio editing and do an export like that. That's probably going to be a June thing. I might literally just decide ahead of time to schedule that for like June 23rd or something for the 35th anniversary of Sonic. Which, sidebar, I'm not going to be around for a good chunk of June and July. I have 3 separate work trips and a vacation in the span of about 6 weeks. Starting literally the week of the week that is normally Sonic Weekathon kickoff. So like literally I'm going to be flying out. Am I flying out on June 20th? No, I'm flying out on June 21st. So I'll be around for June 20th, which is the date that I think that was the date that was that the date of the first video or the date of the first podcast for it? That was a Monday. So that would have been, the 15th anniversary of our Sonic 1 video back on dpadup.com. I have something else that I've been kind of cooking up that I don't think will be done in time. I was hoping to have more time to spend on it over the past like 2 years, and it just never happened. So we'll see if it gets anywhere at all. If not, then there's no reason it can't be something that happens later. But Sonic Adventure in chronological order, I'm like targeting that area for release. And then, of course, there's the Best of the D-Pad, years 11 to 15. So this one was kind of interesting because, it's going to be a shitload of volume to dig through, obviously. But I'm also trying to decide whether I want to have a video that merges the first 10 years video and the years 11 to 15 video into one huge one. And I don't know. I don't know what I want to do for that. I don't think it makes sense to only put out an updated video that adds the 11 to 15. I think that we need to at least have a separate 11 to 15 video. The question is whether there's also a 1 to 15 video. And I think that is also targeting that like kind of late June zone, since that is April is the anniversary of the D-Pad, but June is the anniversary of the D-Pad Let's Play. So I've got some decisions to make on those. That's where that's kind of at right now. Relatedly, so that's everything from the sizzle reel, but relatedly, we have, and I haven't hit the button yet. We have the Grand Champion Tournament, which everybody here in the video, I think, has heard of at this point. If anybody's watching this in VOD, we're doing a tournament, squaring off the first 1,024 games that we have covered on this channel over its 15 plus year history. But we're not pitting them against each other to figure out which one is the best video game. We're pitting them against each other to figure out which ones we've dealt with the best. So like what games have had the best D-pad coverage? Sorry, I'm just going to adjust a little bit. There we go. And the example I think I gave in the announcement video was Amp Gear versus Mega Man Battle Network 5. which I think is a pretty good example of the distinction here, where if this was a tournament to figure out what the best games were, I don't think it's any doubt that Battle Network 5 would beat Amp Gear in a heartbeat. But Battle Network 5 as a series, it's not one of the worst, but it's definitely a rough spot for us in the Mega Let's Play, I would say. We were kind of mid-transition on who was actually sticking around for Battle Network at the time. And I did a bunch of them solo because I was like, I got to get this done. And I grew to really hate Liberation missions by the time we were properly through with it. I'm trying to remember if Jeff joined in by the end of that or if it was just with 6. But versus Amp Gear, which is an easy go-to favorite if you want to have a video that leaves you like gasping and wheezing like someone suffering from moderate obstructive sleep apnea. So like in this tournament, I would assume that Amp Gear is going to beat Battle Network 5. Spoilers. In fact, when I did my own prediction in the tournament, I want to say, let me find this actually, because I posted it and then I posted it again. Yeah, so in the tournament, I forget if it's even in this first conference, but in the first round, Amp Gear goes up against Ring Fit Adventure. Seems like a pretty easy win there to me. While Mega Man Star Force Dragon goes up against Tekken 3, a game that I couldn't tell you a single thing about how we covered that one. And so pretty easy wins to me in that one, which meant that Amp Gear went up against Mega Man Star Force Dragon, which is a really, really tough choice. Yeah, if I wasn't on mic, I don't think I would have hated the Liberation missions as much in Battle Network 5. It was very much like trying to do them for content became a chore after a while, especially once those missions started to get beyond 1 hour or beyond 2 hours. Like they really started to stretch out after a while. And trying to do them for the sake of 100%ing a game was just like, oh my God. But yeah, so the way that it's going to work is that aside from this first one where we're kind of shrinking the time period a little bit because I wanted to give people a chance to put predictions in. I mean, yes, the better deck would have probably a better deck would have made it easier to get through them, but still just like they were such an absolute pace killer every time. Like my issues with them are more systemic and less about the Liberation missions themselves, which I was perfectly fine to kind of grind out. It was just like I was more interested in anything that wasn't Liberation missions. But yeah, so for most of these rounds, anytime there are 64 matches, the rounds are going to be 3 weeks long. This first one is technically only 2 weeks long, but I gave an extra week to make sure that people could get predictions in because we've got prizes. So from now until May 15th, people will be able to vote on the first half of the first round in the Legendary Conference. It's 4 conferences of 256 games apiece. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make sense of the whole tournament, how to make sense of how it broke down time-wise, and I think I found something that's at least vaguely reasonable. It's still a ton of content. Nobody's likely to be able to watch everything for a given set of decisions, but I think that even someone who hasn't watched anything on the channel with 3 weeks' time could probably at least get a sense of a good chunk of these, at least vaguely. A lot of the, and in fairness, a lot of these games were represented by a single video too. I'm actually curious what we have more of between games that we've done series of and games we've done a single episode of. Actually, hang on a second. I can. Oh, I guess I can't actually solve that. No, wait, no, I can. Hang on. I have a way to do this. Google Sheets will. Oh wait, no, I can't. Never mind. Because I'm just looking this already, and I'm like, but we've had 3 separate instances of a single video of Sonic 1 and 3 separate instances of a single video of Sonic CD, and it's like, okay, that's not very helpful then if it's not going to be distinguishable from the stuff we've done series of if we've just done one-offs here and there. It does look like we've probably done more one-offs than non-one-offs, but the analysis on that would take fucking forever. But yeah, so our first 64 matches are going on. Although, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this right here and now. Legendary Conference bracket. We have 17 predictions in, 16 plus mine. I am not eligible for any of the prizes. If I take first, second, third, or fourth, then I'm just going to remove myself from the listing. I do still have one mystery bracket that I don't know who it belongs to. But we can figure that out as we go. I wish it wasn't such a pain in the ass. I wish that predictions could still happen while all of this was going on. By game count, almost certainly single videos. I think you've done stuff like Ouya Oh No and the grand finale. Yeah, exactly. Like we've had a lot of those. Just so I went to the page and I ordered all of them by number of episodes, and I would say that the scroll bar when I reach the point of seeing the number hit 2 is like 60 to 65% of the way down. With the caveat that there are duplicates in here, and there's a lot of stuff that we covered once in full, and then we did we did a one-off of Zelda 1 for the NES Classic Edition. We did a one-off of A Link to the Past for the Super NES Classic Edition. We did a one-off of Nintendo Land for the Ultimate Wii U, so there's duplicates in there. It's probably quite close to 50-50. If I had to guess, out of, and this does, and in fairness, this also includes all the way out to, 1,038 is what we're at the time of this stream, of ones that have been published. We have a few more that haven't been published yet. So, I would be willing to bet that the number of single episode games only, like ones that we've done a single video on ever, I would be willing to bet that is less than 600. Maybe as low as 550. It'd be close. Also, just for my own edification, dude, yours is the one labeled hard to beat the empty video game nerd, right? That is your bracket. Because the other one that does not have a name to it, which came in after this conversation, was a hasty prediction bracket. So let's see. So okay, cool. That's what I figured. So yes, our participants for this, the folks who are in the running, we have 16 people. We have C-Dude, we have Joe Body, we have TMNT Fan, we have Zim, we have Hoyota, we have Pepe, we have Spoiler Goblin, we have Siran, we have Alxbrit, we have Nano, we have SD Hero, we have our mystery participant, we have Viral, we have DJ Glaceon, we have the Gollux, and we have Panda King. Or we have Panda 1, 2, 3. So those will be. It's very fitting that for a tournament situation we have a binary number of people. We have 16 participants. That's fun. But all right, I'm gonna do the thing. I think I'm so nervous because like as soon as I hit this, it's real. As soon as I hit this, we're in. So here we go. The right now the cursor is on start the tournament. The tournament has begun. Oh god. Oh, can I not? Oh, this is annoying. This is only going to be an issue for round 1, but it does let you vote on both the first heat and second heat right now. It lets you vote on everything that's in the first round. So that's a little frustrating. I will take stock of the counts for everything, but essentially, if you go to the page, there should now be a massive wall of little teeny matchup things that let you decide which one you want to vote for. I actually wonder here. Why do they do it like this? I guess. See, this is the problem with challenge. Is so the assumption is when you're using a challenge bracket, you're like essentially setting up like a basketball tournament. So at the end of it, you manually input the scores and then stuff moves on. And it's more of an organizational tool. The voting thing is kind of a bonus, and they extended that to be such that there is an option on the admin side to take whatever the votes are and apply them to a given match. And for some reason, they don't make it that you can click on the match down below and add them. Like, I can't click on match 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 16-bit versus Gen War, and then choose my vote in there. I'm not going to vote in this, by the way. Like, I'm speaking in hypotheticals. I will not vote in this. I'm going to leave this up to you guys to decide what's what. But it's not great user experience. So peek behind the curtain. I had a tournament bracket website that I was starting to develop on the side for like the last year-ish, maybe 2. And it's not far. I got a decently working one. It's not as far as I would have liked things to be. It's certainly not stable enough to handle this, which is a bummer because I was really hoping it would be. I thought it would be a fun thing to do. Not to mention, if I was able to use this as a beta test, I actually launch it as a full proper website after that. But it is what it is. I don't know. But the votes are now live. You can now go in. You can now submit your votes. You can technically, I'm anxious because I'm like, so what happens if can you change your vote later? Hang on, let me look at this because I'm not seeing anything for this. I'll experiment with this right now. I'm just gonna pick one of these. Oh, is it? It's not. How is it choosing the order for this? Oh, is it doing them in reverse? It is. For some reason, so the first match that it has you vote on is the 128th match, which is the last one of the second heat. That's irritating. So I'm going to test one thing here. I may as well do this, which is I'm going to place one vote. This is not Challenge's design use case, though. Absolutely. No, 100%. Hello, Joe Body. I'm going to test something because I'm going to vote in one of these, and I'll be able to see that I voted for it, and I'll just subtract the vote if it matters. I'm picking one where I don't think it's going to matter at all. So just to see if I click submit vote, is it going to make it go away? Like, is it going to lock it in permanently? Okay. I see. So what'll happen is if you select submit your votes at the bottom, anything that you voted for will be locked in, but you can keep voting on other things. Gonna verify this. Yes. Okay. So that's how that one goes. So if you literally want to take it one at a time, you can do that. If you want to do a couple at a time, you can do that. Just know that when you select submit your vote, that is final. I don't think I can do anything about that. I don't think that I have any way of... Yeah, I don't have any way of affecting that. Oh, that's interesting. On the standing side, it alphabetized the participants. It also definitely intends for anything that's in here to be a person or something or person that's represented by like an account on the website. Which, if are we able to see our predictions? I think so. I think there is a if you're on the website. In the left menu, there should be bracket, standings, predictions. You can click on that, and then you should be able to get into your... Oh, geez. Hang on a second. Let me see something here. Oh, I see. Okay. So right now, allow predictions to be publicly viewable prior to the tournament starting. Okay, that was blank because I wanted to make sure that nobody was like cribbing off of each other for those. I think you should be able to see your prediction though on the left menu, and if you're on your phone, I think it's a burger menu. It'll either be at the very top left of your phone screen or it'll be in like a top menu. What's annoying though is why they do this in such a weird way. Because before you had the name of the prediction in one column and then a bunch of other stuff, and then at the end under admin for me there was like a little magnifying glass to that you could look at a set of predictions and then a garbage can to delete it. But then they moved, so now the magnifying glass isn't there, but now the name of each of the things is a link. And also it just straight up says out loud what like your top 4 finalists are. So, you know, try not to look at those, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't really anticipating that. So that's kind of a whole thing. But all right. Anywho, yeah, the bracket's live. I'm going to have to remember to oh. Well, I guess you can't see it until you've submitted, but once you've submitted, the votes, I believe, are also public. So, like, you would hypothetically be able to see how many people have voted for any given thing once you've voted. I should also actually mark a bunch of these as being in progress now. Because now we've got 64 matches that are all going. Is it going to mark it in the voting area? No, of course not. So annoying. So annoying. There's so many things about this that are like 5% off from what would actually be really, really good. And like it is a really good site. It's doing a lot of stuff that would be an enormous pain in the ass to do otherwise. But like, there's a bunch of little things, little things that I'm like, come on. But yeah, so for the next 2 weeks, these will all be open. You can vote on any of them you like. I suspect. Yeah, okay. This is so weird. Yeah, this is odd. I will be able to fill in the final results on a bunch of these as we wrap up, and then I think because of the way this is done, the second set of 64 will be there by themselves after that. Again, this is really only going to be an issue for like half of the first round. The first heat of each conference is going to also show the second heat as votable. And technically, I mean, you can vote in those too. We're just not going to tally them until 3 weeks later. There's so much manual fidgeting with this. It's fucking crazy. 2 more. There we go. Okay. That is all of those as currently active. Good. Okay. Wait, what does it shout out? Wait, what's up? Oh, when you've voted on one of the matches, I assume this is what you're referring to. When you vote on one of the matches, once you submit your votes for those, it will show you what the current vote percentages are. At least that's what it's showing me. I don't have a way of, like, I don't have a second account because then I would also have to vote a second time to be able to see if that changes. But I voted on 2 of them, and it currently shows the one that I voted for with 1 vote and the one that I didn't vote for with 0 votes. So. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this goes. I was very dead set on this being a year-long thing, both because I felt like it was a fun celebration of 15 years, fun celebration of 1,000+ games, but also because it was just going to take that long in the first place. This first chunk of it is going to be the hardest part for sure. Like this first 6 months, essentially, every 3 weeks, knocking out another 64 games. That's going to be for sure the most intense that this gets, because then after that it will get easier and easier progressively from there. But yeah, you don't have to rush through it. You got weeks to make your calls as need be, or you can do them quickly. It's up to you, however you want to do this. Again, each of these rounds up until we get through to, let's see, so let me look at my list. I actually do have this written out. Oh yeah. Each of these rounds will take 3 weeks until we get to the start of March next year. So it's going to be like three-ish weeks at a time, basically until the final month, until we're down to the final 64. Yeah, I took a look at I took a peek at the predictions thing just because I'm not voting, so it doesn't matter for me. But I guess when I say it doesn't matter for me, whether my predictions come true, I'm going to get a score for that also, but I'm not voting beyond the ones that I did. And again, the ones that I voted in, I don't think are exactly going to tip any scales either. But some interesting ones that pop up a bunch, some interesting diversity of thoughts of which ones will wind up coming out on top. Some that I find kind of surprising too. There are a few in there that I'm like, huh, okay. Interesting. Um, but yeah, there's a few that I'm noticing turning up an awful lot in people's top 4, so that's cool. The fun part is I don't think I can actually see I don't think I can actually see how do I have to vote in these to get them to come here? There's supposed to be a way to pull in. Okay. Yeah, if I click on if I don't think you'll be able to. Whoops. I don't think any of you have the button for this. Yeah, no. But I have a button called report scores, and when I pull it in there I can actually see who won what. So I can make adjustments on the 2 that I voted in to test those, and then from now I won't need to. So I suppose there's an element of like I can peek ahead of time to see like, this is how that one went. Okay. This is how that one went. All right, cool. It's exciting though. I wish there was a little more visual stuff going on, at least on the admin side. But I guess the only way that would work would be if I voted in all of these as well. And I really think I shouldn't. I think that's really not for me to do. In the best case scenario, it would reinforce, what other people's votes wind up being, and in the worst case, it would be diluting it, right? So I will stay hands off, but yeah, I'll be putting together a video to more formally announce that this has begun, either tomorrow or Sunday, as well as give a breakdown of the first batch of competitors, because we have 64 matches, 128 games, ending on May 15th before we launch into the next set of 64 matches. And again, I think once we get out of this first round in October, it'll smooth out a lot, because at that point, all right, everything that's being voted on, you've at least considered at some point already, and so you're going to have that a little more mentally like ready to go. But cool, fuck yeah, I'm excited. I'm also just yeah, all right, cool. The ones that I did my test votes in have not been controversial picks at all, so that's good. But yeah, I don't even know. There's parts of how we're gonna put this into video that I'm still undecided on, but I don't know. This will be fun. I'm excited. It's double excited because it's something that I get to giddily kind of wait on the sidelines and see how it goes for a change. I don't get to do that very often. Make sure, by the way, to hover on the name of the game, because nearly every game is too long of a title. And so you want to make sure that, like, is this Ocarina of Time or Ocarina of Time 3D? Is it Mega Man for the NES? Is it Mega Man for DOS? Is it Mega Man for the Game Gear? Just want to make sure that you're double checking that before you cast your votes. But yeah, man. Excitement. Cool. All right. I should break away to get the last thing set up. I was a little bit tempted earlier. Yeah, The Legend of Zelda or The Legend of Zelda. Fortunately, there haven't been... it will almost guaranteed be a thing that comes up more often as we get further in. But there's extremely little head-to-head within a franchise in this first round. There's almost none. There's, I think, Pokemon Diamond versus Pokemon Colosseum, which is one of the CJ and Felice series, versus my one-off Pokemon Colosseum Mount Battle Race stream. There was another one in here. Oh, for a really silly thing that I noticed, uh, every game that is titled exactly Mega Man is up against a Mario Kart game. Mega Man for NES is up against a Mario Kart game. Mega Man for DOS is up against a Mario Kart game. And Mega Man for the Game Gear is up against a Mario Kart game. Yeah, Mega Man Game Gear is up against Mario Kart Double Dash. Mega Man for DOS is up against Mario Kart World. And Mega Man 1 for the NES is up against Mario Kart DS. Super, super random fucking chance. Because these weren't planned orders. This is literally just going off of their release order on the channel. So just by some dumb fucking luck, all three games titled just Mega Man are up against Mario Kart games. I thought that was fascinating. For the hell of it, I'll give you guys some of the other trivia that I found. I'll mention these in the video as well, but since we're here, one of the matchups is Pokemon Heart Gold version versus Battle Monsters. I thought that was kind of cute. There's a matchup of Five Nights at Freddy's versus Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem. Kind of a fun one there. There's a fourth Mega Man versus Mario matchup in the form of, and they're both ampersand titles, Wily and Light's Rockboard versus Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Games. Later on, there's Castlevania versus Doom. At one point, there's Pokemon Sword versus Mega Man Star Force 2 Zerker, where Zerker, which is the game that involves the sword Opart. So both of them involve a mystical sword. And both are very Jeff-heavy series. At one point, Sonic 3 Prototype goes up against Sonic Adventure 2 Randomizer. Another silly title one, Grand Theft Auto goes up against Swindler. And the last one that I have is Tetris for the CDI and Tetris for the Sega Genesis are back-to-back in the seed ordering how they get laid out in the tournament bracket, but they wouldn't meet up until the third round if they survive long enough. They're not one after the other in their seed number, but like because it's like, oh, here's 1 versus 1024, and then here's, 512 versus like the way that tournaments naturally order their stuff out. They just happen to be literally one after the other in the list. But they kind of, they like diverge first and then have to come together. How will ties work if they happen? They may literally come down to either sudden death type situations, like a lightning round, or literal coin flip. Hopefully it doesn't happen too often. I feel like it'd be silly to say hopefully it doesn't happen at all, because we have 1,021 matches. The odds of getting 0 ties is very close to 0. So we will cross that bridge when we come to it, I think. But yeah, hey, there's an element of chaos to this stuff. There's no, whatever your metric is for better counts. It's the same as with Red Letter Media when they do their best of the worst. The best of the worst for the most entertaining for any reason. It doesn't even have to be something that otherwise matters to anybody else. It could be that you like the title technically. All I can do is set down the suggested guidelines. It is entirely up to you how you want to interpret them. But yeah, I was low-key debating earlier, like, man, do we do the weird stream tonight? Do we do it like, well, so tomorrow night I have a Mario Party stream, and Sunday night I am not going to be able to stream for reasons that I'll tell you at a later date, but I really don't have another like night available for it. So I'll probably, I think we can still do it tonight. It's going to be I'm going to be chatty. I'm going to be doing code, arguably more than anything else, but I'll kind of like walk you guys through what's happening with that. I've gone into this project a few times now, and every time there's a point where I'm like, I don't like the way that I'm setting this up. I need to try it a different way. So we are at the beginning of another of those. This is probably V4 now of various attempts, and I've got a pretty good idea how I want to handle it now, but that'll be a thing for in a few minutes, Rick, to handle. All right. But yeah, I think that's probably it for the Patreon Hangout portion of this. I think for the VOD, I am probably going to, because I haven't even verbalized what the project thing that I'm working on is, but I'm probably going to break this into 2 separate VODs. The Hangout portion will be will just kind of go up on its own, and then the other one is probably going to stay under wraps for now. I'll probably post it to the Patreon, but otherwise I don't want it to break containment just yet. This is definitely one of those sorts of things where I don't think it's likely that if it broke containment and someone else found out about it, they would go and try to do themselves, just because the amount of work involved is absurd. But I don't know. There's a surprise element to this that I think would do well when all is said and done with this, even though it's a long ways away. It's a long ways away. Or maybe it's not. If I have enough of this thing put together and I can find some good shortcuts for it, then maybe it's not as far away as I thought. But get into the weeds. I'm going to take a break for a couple minutes. Just to catch my breath, get a drink, in the bathroom, chat with Sarah, and then we'll get back into this, and we'll start messing around with stuff. Yeah. And don't forget, over the next 2 weeks, challenge.com/grand_champion_1, where you can submit your votes. And really, it's the bottom 16 rows of that you want to be messing with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I think Mega Man 4 versus Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is essentially, that's the row that you actually want to. Yeah, that's the row that you definitely want to jump into. And everything below that on the list. The stuff above that will still be there after 2 more weeks. But all right, I'm going to bounce for a few. We'll be back. And yeah, see you in a sec.